All right, so have you ever wished you could just like grab a coffee with the guy who ran Disney and just be like, hey, what's it take to like, be in charge of Mickey Mouse and Star
What's
Wars?
it?
Well, we're going one better than a coffee date in this deep dive.
Okay.
We're cracking open Robert Iger's memoir, The Rye of a Lifetime.
Yeah.
And we're not just gonna like, list off his resume and be like, oh, he was born here and then he did this.
Right.
It's about finding those little nuggets, those little
Yeah.
aha moments that show how he made decisions when the stakes were sky high.
They were high.
Yeah.
And the lessons, they're not just for Hollywood. They apply to anyone who wants to make a dent in the world,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, think about his early days at ABC Sports.
Okay.
Imagine you're this young guy thrown into the deep end with these crazy deadlines, global events, and a boss like Rooney Arledge. I mean, talk about pressure.
Ruin Arledge, right. The legend who basically invented like modern sports on TV.
Exactly. And Iger's there feeling the heat, complaining about the workload.
Yeah, I read that part.
And Arledge just turns to him and says, get a longer snorkel.
Get a longer snorkel.
Just like that.
What a boss.
Right. But that line, it's more than just a funny story. It reveals so much about Iger's leadership style.
Okay, I'm listening.
It wasn't about doing less work. It was about building the capacity to handle more, to just keep swimming.
Okay, but how do you actually get a longer snorkel in real life? Like, what does that even mean?
Well, the 1988 Calgary Olympics, that's a perfect example.
Oh, yeah.
This massive blizzard hits out of nowhere, throws the whole broadcast into chaos.
Oh, man, you're kidding.
Equipment's failing schedules are shot, and Iger's the one who has to somehow salvage it.
Talk about pressure. So what did he do? Did he, like, freak out?
He could have, but he didn't. Instead of panicking, he took a step back and reframed the situation. He looked at the resources he did have, the team he had around him, and he turned that blizzard into an opportunity.
Okay, but how?
They incorporated the blizzard into the broadcast. They showed the athletes battling the elements, the human side of it all. And you know what? It worked.
People love an underdog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It made the Olympics more relatable, more real.
That's thinking on your feet.
Right. And then from there, he goes from managing the Olympics to running all of ABC Entertainment.
Wait, wasn't he like a sports guy? How do you even make that jump?
That's the thing about Iger. He was a sponge, always learning, always pushing himself.
Mm-hmm.
He dove headfirst into this new world, surrounded himself with experts, and wasn't afraid to take risks.
He just rolled with it.
He had to, and it clearly paid off.
So he's this quick learning risk taker, and then boom, Disney buys ABC.
Yeah, talk about a culture clash.
Right. It's like those memes with the business cats in suits.
Totally. Iger even says in the book, like Cap Cities, they were all about efficiency, The bottom line,
Show me the money.
exactly. But Disney, it was different. It was about the feeling, the magic.
Okay, so how do you even begin to like merge those two worlds?
It's tricky, right? You can't force people to change overnight. But what Iger did, he was like this anthropologist almost.
What do you mean?
He watched, he listened,
Yeah.
he figured out what made both sides tick.
Instead of just being like, all right, everybody, this is how we're doing things now.
Exactly. He knew that wouldn't work.
Meh.
And it's something I think a lot of companies could learn from even today.
Yeah, especially now with like every other week there's a new merger.
Right. It's about bridging those gaps, finding the common ground.
Makes sense. And this is where the whole Michael Ovitz thing comes in, right?
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
He was like this Hollywood superstar agent, right?
Yeah, best in the business.
Yeah.
But as Iger saw it, Ovitz's style, it just wasn't a good fit for Disney.
How so?
Ovitz was all about moving fast, making deals on instinct.
And Disney's more like a slow-moving ship.
Kinda. They were more collaborative, lots of voices in the room. And that just wasn't how Ovitz operated.
So it was like a square peg in a round hole.
Pretty much. And Iger talks about how Ovitz really struggled with that, the internal politics, all the layers of decision making.
That's like he went from being the star quarterback to suddenly he's got like 5 coaches yelling at him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was used to calling all the shots, and then suddenly he's in this whole new world.
And then to make matters even juicier, you've got the whole Eisner versus Roy Disney drama going on in the background.
Oh, yeah, that was straight out of a movie.
So you've got Iger stuck in the middle of this like corporate tug of war.
And he somehow manages to navigate it all without getting crushed. He learned to read the room, anticipate the next move. It was like high-stakes chess.
It's like, okay, you've climbed the corporate ladder, dodged a few metaphorical bullets, and now you're CEO of Disney. Where do you even go from there?
Well, you'd think he'd pop some champagne, put his feet up.
Right.
But nope, Iger walks right into a pressure cooker.
Oh, yeah. I bet people were skeptical, like, who is this guy?
Totally. And on top of that, the whole media landscape is shifting beneath everyone's feet.
The internet was starting to shake things up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what does Iger do? He makes a huge splash.
Okay. How huge are we talking?
He buys Pixar.
No way! That was like peak Pixar. They were on fire.
Exactly. And everyone thought he was crazy, but Iger, he saw something different.
What'd he see?
He understood that Pixar wasn't just about the technology or the animation style. It was about the people, the culture, the collaborative energy.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
He talks in the book about how he spent weeks at Pixar just observing how they worked, how they brainstormed.
He was like an anthropologist studying them.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he realized that to bring that Pixar magic to Disney, he couldn't just force it. He had to create the right environment. Let those creatives do what they do best.
So he buys Pixar and then he goes and buys Marvel.
He was on a roll.
But Marvel, that's a whole other beast, right? They're notoriously protective of their characters.
Oh yeah, Iger even talks about how he had to win over Ike Perlmutter.
He was like the gatekeeper of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, exactly. And Iger realized that to make it work, he couldn't just be some corporate suit. He had to connect with Perlmutter on a personal level, earn his trust.
It's amazing how these huge billion-dollar deals come down to human connection.
Right. And it's something that Iger really understood. And it leads us to maybe his biggest legacy, how he saw the future of entertainment.
Go on.
He realized that Disney couldn't just be about theme parks and movies. They needed to go digital.
So he goes all in on streaming.
Big time. Even though a lot of people at Disney were like, whoa, 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 slow down.
They probably thought he was crazy again.
Right. But Iger, he saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
He knew that to survive in the 21st century, Disney had to go where the audience was going.
And that's how we got Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus.
Exactly. Iger was willing to blow up his own business model to stay ahead of the curve.
He really knew when to hold them and when to fold them.
Right. And that's the mark of a true leader, knowing when to stick to your guns and when to completely reinvent yourself.
So we've gone from those crazy Olympics to the Magic Kingdom to the streaming wars. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground.
So if you had to pick one big lesson from Iger's journey, what would it be?
For me, it's the reminder that you can't be afraid to adapt. You have to be like a chameleon, changing with your environment, learning new things.
Don't get stuck in your ways.
Exactly.
Mm.
Iger's story shows that success isn't about following some rule book. It's about being flexible, building relationships, and never forgetting the power of a good story.
And that's what's so cool about these deep dives. We can learn from these legends, apply their wisdom to our own lives.
Exactly. Whether you're running a company or just trying to navigate your own personal journey, there's always something to be learned.
So what will you take away from Robert Iger's story? What longer snorkel will you take into your own world? Think about it.